A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said, "Woe to you, Pharisees, for you tithe mint and rue and herbs of all kinds, and neglect justice and the love of God. It is these you ought to have practiced without neglecting the others. Woe to you, Pharisees, for you love to have the seat of honor in the synagogues and to be greeted with respect in the marketplaces. Woe to you, for you are like unmarked graves, and people walk over them without realizing it." One of the lawyers answered him, "Teacher, when you say these things, you insult us too." And he said, "Woe also to you, lawyers, for you load people with burdens hard to bear, and you yourself do not lift a finger to ease them." When I hear the story for today, my mind goes to the summary of the law, to love God and to love each other. Now, this is frequently a point of contention between Jesus and the Pharisees and Jesus and the lawyers, who often get so caught up in trying to follow the strict letter of the law that they don't remember the spirit of the law. That yes, if you're following each of the 10 commandments diligently and it's helping you to love God and love each other better, then that's great. If you're following 613 different laws that are helping you to love God and love each other better, then that's great. But if you get so caught up in trying to follow the laws that you miss the point, or worse yet, if you get so caught up in teaching others to judge each other because of their failure to follow the 613 laws just properly so, then you're missing out on the spirit of it, which should always be about loving God and loving each other. Now, the part about Jesus calling the Pharisees unmarked graves was tricky for me to understand. Perhaps it was for you as well. I had to do a little digging, but if you go back into the old traditions, it was believed at the time that if you had come into physical contact with a grave, you would be unclean for 7 days, even accidentally. So if you were accidentally to be tripped over an unmarked grave, you'd be unclean for 7 days. So I think what Jesus is telling the Pharisees is, don't be a tripping hazard for the people that you're supposed to be teaching. Don't put traps in there for them, giving them opportunities to judge and be judged without teaching them the underlying spirit of the law, that it's supposed to be about love. That if you're just teaching them rules to be condemned by or to condemn each other, then what you're laying for them is a trap that will make them unclean and it'll hurt them. So instead, lawyers, Pharisees, and this goes for us too, instead, we should make sure that when we're teaching people how to live their lives and we're teaching people how to assess and judge and value the actions of ourselves and each other, make sure that we keep it rooted where it belongs, rooted in loving God and each other. If we do that, then we're far less likely to be a stumbling block, a tripping hazard, an unmarked grave that's going to lead someone astray. If we do that, we will remain rooted where we belong, which is in love. Amen.